Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Learn Tarot with Moxie podcast. It has been a minute. I think it's been 2 months almost since I published an episode, and that's because life has been a little bit bonkers, mostly in a good way, but in a weird way, and I'll share, I guess, a little bit more with you about that. But the last episode I published from Moab, and I had taken a road trip. Basically, I was having like a mini, I'm going to go absolutely bonkers if I don't get out of the rain and the cold when it is supposed to be springtime moment. And I got in the car and I just pretty much left. I'm one of those folks who really, really, really need sunshine, and I can make it through the winter just fine as long as it gets sunny when it's supposed to get sunny. I'm in Michigan, so we are pretty high up there on the list of states that have very little sun. I think we're maybe only second to like Washington State or Oregon. And anyway, so I'd had enough, starting to get to me. Life was getting to me, and got in the car and was just really hoping to figure some shit out. And so that's where I was when I did the last episode. I was sort of in the midst of that, and in this absolutely beautiful place I just sort of lucked into and had a couple days in the desert to just be. And that's where the last podcast episode came from. So that episode was primarily, in addition to my life drama, which has become part of these podcasts, that episode was about making some life decisions, right? Trying to figure out what I'm doing, where I'm going, how things are going to look, how I want things to look for the next X number of years. And there's nothing like a very long winter and a very dark, rainy spring to bring out I don't even know what you call it, I can't take this stuff anymore, I have to make a change. And so from that perspective, it was actually a good spring, but can't say as though it was a really fun spring. So one of the things that I was trying to make a decision about as I hopped in the car was what I want to do basically with like the next 30 years of my life, right? I don't mean this to be morbid at all. I don't think of it that way. I look at it like sort of a wake-up call or an opportunity. I realized not too long ago that I'm going to be 60 in 2 years, which is kind of cool. I figure I have a good 30 years left to get out there, do the things that I want to do. And it occurred to me as I was sitting here this spring that I had not been very conscious in the creation of anything in my life to this point, right? I did what was expected. You know, you're the good little girl. You grow up and you do the good little girl things, and you go to school and you get married and you have a child or children, or, you know, you do the da-da-da-da-da-da. You do the thing. Or I did the thing. And not that those things were bad, because I learned so much through those experiences. But those experiences were things that were, those experiences were the experiences of the path of least resistance. The experience of someone to whom it wasn't clear that other choices could be made. And so, I just did. I just did. And now that I've just done, I want to look at things differently. I really want this next 30 years to be more consciously created. And so one of the things that I have been struggling with Moxie and with owning my own business has been work-life balance. With any new business, there is always a lot of work. And I was good with that. I like to work. And I love the creative process of the new startup. And I love all of the different things there are to do, the variety. There's everything from, I can get on my super nerdy spreadsheet self, but I can also do video and I can also do audio and all of these other fun things, right? So lots of great things about it. And as a result, I found that a lot of the other things in my life were suffering. I wasn't spending as much time on my art as I wanted to. I wasn't spending as much time, good God, outside, exercising. And I was doing lots of great things. I was still doing my yoga and I was still doing my meditation and was still doing pottery, but at a different level with a different level of emotional investment. And so I started just to think about, this isn't working, right? I sort of let things happen to me for the past 58 years. Here's where I landed. Now, how do I take what I have in front of me and tweak it in a way that makes this next 30 years really fun? How do I do that? And I knew that it certainly wasn't sticking with Moxie. Not having a work-life balance just is, I think, a tragedy, a huge tragedy. And I've done it in various spells in my life. I have a tendency to either be in complete not working creative mode, that type of thing, or in the only term I can think of to describe this, and I can still see my dad sitting there, is balls to the wall. Get it done. Go, 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 right? And so clearly I don't have a very good balance. I was an early childhood program director when I first started really, really getting into work. And that's what it was about. You would go, 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 crazy, 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 crazy. And then you'd have 2 weeks off. And then you would go, 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 go. And then you'd have 3 months off. And I never had to, I guess, really learn a balance, a healthy balance. So as a consequence, when I went to work for other people in the past, I would put that same level of go, go, go that I would do in spurts, right? That I would do for a month at a time or 2 months at a time or whatever, knowing full well that I had this regenerative break coming up. When I went to work for a company that was working with adult vocational, well, we didn't get a week off for Easter. We didn't get a week off for midwinter break and the summer off and yada, yada, right? So I took my normal work ethic into this business and sort of forgot how to maintain a balance. And since I haven't gone back to traditional education, I stayed in this space of constantly working, poor work-life balance, not realizing that I was waiting on some subliminal level for my summer break. So that's what I'm striving for. I've decided that my best bet is going to be to go back to work for somebody else. And I'm looking for part-time. I'm looking for good money. I'm looking for something that's going to allow me to do some good, to enjoy my work, and then to promptly forget about my work. So the rest of my time when I'm not working can be spent doing the things that I love to do, having the energy to do the things that I love to do. And I've, in the past couple months, made some strides toward that. And I'm hoping within the next couple weeks to hear for sure about a job that's going to allow me to do just that. So, Moxie, as you know it, if your primary point of contact with me is the podcast, isn't going anywhere. Podcast is going to stay with some caveats. But the rest of Moxie's going away. I'm putting my courses up on Skillshare. I am really just kind of dissolving the whole thing and just picking out of it what I love to do, which is the podcast, and letting the rest go. So that is step one toward the new work-life balance. So in the last episode, I talked about using the tarot to help make some of our bigger life decisions, to help sort things out. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about using the tarot as a tool for conscious creation. This week, we are going to talk about tarot as your objective observer. Objective observer is simply someone who watches an experiment, an event, an interaction completely dispassionately, someone who can speak the objective truth of what is occurring or what has occurred in the past. Someone who can someone who can rise above things sufficiently to see the bigger picture. The objective observer is the part of you that's able to stand back from the fray, to see what's going on, and to report the what's so of the situation. What's going on? What is the situation? It's not the what you think the situation is. It's not the what you want the situation to be or what you hope or fear, but what it actually is. And I am still establishing a relationship with mine, with my objective observer. I first learned about it, years ago, in relationship to Eastern philosophy, right? But at that point, while I understood the concept intellectually, I wasn't really self-aware enough to experience it, to internalize it. And it wasn't really until I started cultivating my relationship with my higher self that I started to really internalize this concept of the objective observer. And the more experience I have with it, I'm wondering about the relationship with the two. Or maybe they're the same thing, viewed through a different lens. But I'm finding it interesting, this connection of the objective observer with Eastern philosophy. Anyway, what I'm finding is that by cultivating this, whatever it is I'm calling it, I've been able to learn to separate the what's so from my anxiety-ridden inner child who is fretting about this, that, or the other thing, right? I've been able to learn how to get to the point where I can observe myself spinning out. Like when we're dealing with all of the stuff that I've been dealing with, right? All of this, I want to make changes, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's scary, and it's hard, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's anxiety producing. Whether it's good anxiety or bad anxiety, it's still anxiety, that kind of spinning out. So once I can say, oh, I'm doing it, I can take a step back and ask myself, why am I doing this? Why am I having this experience, this anxious experience, or this experience of repetitive thought, unhelpful repetitive thought? Is this real? Is this dangerous? Am I in any danger right now? Or is this just anxiety that's making me feel like I'm in danger, right? How am I really, really feeling? Where is this coming from? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling excited? Because keep in mind, anxiety and excitement, the more I pay attention to this, the more I'm realizing how true it is, can feel very similar. Because all of this crap that I've been doing has been resulting in some pretty cool stuff. And my anxiety is like, be careful of what you ask for, right? So once I get to the point where I can recognize that I'm spinning out, and I can take a step back and I can examine it and I can look at it objectively. Once I can recognize and name the feeling, it's much easier to deal with that feeling. So, am I scared? A little bit, but maybe that's not the big thing. Am I angry? Nope, not angry. No, I'm not angry. Am I excited? Yeah, but I'm also a little bit scared, right? There's that fear and anxiety going together, or the fear and the excitement. Yeah. Once I can recognize that, it's much easier for me to deal with it, right? This is kind of how I look at it. If you've ever had the experience of thinking you saw something out of the corner of your eye, whether it's something scary or a dust bunny, right? We don't know. But it's like, I think I saw something out of the corner of my eye. And when you look directly at it, there's nothing there. Or it becomes clear what it is that you're looking at, and it's not scary, right? Because it's a table. It's the cat jumping off the table. It's dust motes in the air that you're catching out of the corner of your eye in your periphery. It could be any number of things. But something that you thought that startled you, that made you look, that kind of gave you that gasp, when you really look at it, stare it in the face, you see what it is. It becomes something either completely benign or clear what exactly it is, in which case it either becomes benign or you can get the hell out of there, right? But you're clear. That's kind of what I'm talking about in terms of the getting clear. It's like the objective observer, the objectivity part of this is about looking directly at the ghost, looking directly at the dust motes, looking directly at whatever it is that startled you or frightened you or whatever it is, and disempowering it by knowing exactly what it is. And so this is a practice that I have picked up over the last couple months of looking that ghost, looking that scary thing, whatever it is, right in the eye through the use of the objective observer. And sometimes I can do it just by sitting and getting out of my own way and asking myself these questions, right? Am I scared? How am I feeling? Is it real? Blah, 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 blah. And just breathing into it, looking at it, looking at how I'm feeling, not trying to breathe through the feeling so it goes away, not trying to escape feeling what I'm feeling, but breathing into it, turning, facing it, poking it in the nose, asking it questions, whatever it is. That's what we need to be doing. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm saying, oh, meditation's bad, going inside is bad. No. None of that. That's all wonderful. My point being, this is not meditation, right? This is a conscious problem-solving space that you're getting yourself into. And eventually, this conscious problem-solving space is going to become your default, where actually I'm going to say this conscious problem-solving space is going to become my default, because I'm only about a step and a half ahead of y'all. And I believe in my heart that it's become this has become a really helpful way for me to take a look at things. It's become a really helpful way for me to address all of the changes that I have finally decided I want, all of the unknown, right? There's a lot of unknown when things change, and I thought I would share it with you. So, how can we do this? How can we use the tarot to face this, whatever it is that we're trying to face, right? Face some things that startle us out of the corner of our eye. How can we use the tarot to face these things that we want to face? How can we use the tarot to help us see, maybe? How to use the tarot to become an adjunct to your conversations with yourself, in which you are trying to figure out what's going on using this process of the objective observer. Here are a couple ways you can do this. You can either choose a card from the majors that resonates with you as a no-nonsense, objective card whose opinion you would trust. If you were to sit down with the person in this card, would you trust this person to be your objective observer? You know, for me, one of the first cards that comes to mind is Justice, but Justice is also one of my birth cards, so maybe that's why it comes to mind. Just think about your cards, the cards that have special meanings for you, the cards that resonate with you in some way. It does not have to be a card tied to you anyway. Just pick one that you feel like if you went and sat down with this person, they would be able to give you a clear-cut, objective opinion of what the situation is. You're looking for a guide. You're looking for an advisor. So it doesn't need to be a card you like, right? I don't really care for the Justice card. It's not a very sexy card. I don't know. It's like, okay. I like some of the other cards better, but it's the one I would pick for that, right? So now that you've chosen your card, here are some questions that you might want to think about asking. Am I seeing things accurately? Am I missing something? If so, what am I missing? What trouble, energy, mental crap of my own am I adding to this mix that is creating more confusion? This is a good one, and this is one that has helped me a lot. What is the worst thing that could happen? What is the absolute worst thing that could happen? Because I think you're going to find that the worst thing that could happen in most, not all, but in most situations is not life-threatening. It's not life-altering. It's not something that is going to upset the very being of you and who you are, right? It's going to be something small. So for me, for example, I am in conversation with someone about a job that I really want, giving me all of the things, all of the flexibility, the money, the flexibility, blah, 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 right? And when I get myself into this anxiety-ridden place in relationship to this, I can sometimes get myself kind of wound up, right? It's like making it a much bigger deal than it really is. It's a job, for God's sake. It's not, world peace, right? I ask myself, what is the worst thing that could happen? Okay, what is the worst thing that could happen? Well, the worst thing that could happen is I don't get this job. Okay? So find something different. There's a bazillion jobs out there. There's tons of things I could do, right? Really looking at things like that sometimes helps us realize that there's a possibility we are making a mountain out of a molehill, or we're giving something too much control, or we're giving something too much power over how we are feeling and, where we're going and all of those things. You might also want to ask, okay, well, if this worst thing happens, what are my options? Okay, well, my worst thing that could happen is I don't get the job. What are my options? I start looking at this type of situation. I look at that type of situation. I look for a different job. I reach out to this person. I network here. It's not stopping the process. It's just a momentary glitch, right? That's the worst thing that could happen. What do I truly, truly want to happen, right? Think about that. Because, you know, there was a point at which I realized that I was almost asking or thinking that I wanted something that is far, far too much like a past job that I left for a lot of reasons. I don't want that. I don't want that again, right? I don't want that level of responsibility. I don't want that level of whatever, right? Whatever it is in this job. I don't want all of those things. So no, I don't want to be the face of the organization. No, I don't want to be the rock star. I just want to go in, I want to get paid well, I want to do my job, I want to do some good and get the hell out of there. That's what I want. So asking yourself these questions, asking this card that you have chosen, whatever one it is, to help you really, really dispassionately look at these things is going to help. What do you know? What do you know for sure? What are the actual facts, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I know she's interested because she reached out to me. I know that she's trying to run 3 businesses and needs help but doesn't even know what the heck to do. She doesn't know how to get there. I know that if I push this situation, it might not go well for me because she is juggling so many things. And so there's this balance and this thing that I need to do to help support her get things organized to the point where she can offer me this amazing freaking job, right? Those are some facts, but what am I guessing about, right? What are some things I don't know? Well, I don't know, exactly this, that, or the other. So sitting down with a list of questions like this, your own list, whatever you choose, with the idea of getting things narrowed down into a list of objective facts, right? Alternatively, the other option would be to use this card as a signifier card and create a tarot reading around the questions that I've just gone through, right? Create a tarot reading around why am I seeing things, what am I missing? Boom. What mental crap am I adding to the own mix? If you are struggling to come up with these answers on your own, right? If you are still in a space where it's maybe a little bit hard for you to get that objective distance, use your cards, state very clearly when you are shuffling your cards, when you're getting ready for your reading, that, this is just about getting you clear facts. You're open to information. Please send it through in a way that makes it easy for you to interpret it, whatever it is that you need to do to get this feeling under control with the support of whoever's out there that answers our questions with the tarot cards. So those are the 2 ways that I would suggest you go about working with the cards to get some feel for objective observer, the insight that you can receive as an objective observer. And I want to be clear. I want to be really, really clear of one thing. While this is in some ways, I suppose it is still fairly woo. I mean, we're talking about, using the tarot. But suggesting we start tapping into this objective observer thing is not abandoning our gut. It's not abandoning our intuition. It's not abandoning any of those things. I look at it as now I've sort of been standing at the head of the classroom lecturing you on what the tarot. Cultivate a sense of gaining full knowledge of who we are, what we want, how to get it, and creating a situation where we're able to use the best of all of the tools in our toolbox, right? Where we're able to more dispassionately step away and look at things from a more critical or clinical perspective, just to give us that emotional space we need. Not saying that you aren't allowed to have emotions, not saying that you're not allowed to be emotionally invested in all of these things, but being able to step out of the emotional investment, I guess, is what I'm saying, is sometimes really, really valuable when we get so tied to a particular outcome or a particular, when we get so balled up in ourselves, right? We get to the point where we know that we've gone beyond the momentary capabilities of our higher self to step beyond or move out of the whirlwind of energy that is creating the chaos. That sounds really freaking dramatic. But yeah, think about it like that. Like you're in this state of confusion, you're in this state of, I don't really fully know what I want, I don't know how to get it, I don't know this, I don't know that. How am I feeling? Where do I start? So think about being in the midst of all of that, right? And then think about a little drone going up 20, 30 feet. This drone that can see everything, good, bad, what's about to happen, what just happened, what might happen, all of those things, and using the drone's eye view to help you figure out what's going on in the midst of all of the craziness. That's all. So don't give up on, getting to know your spiritual self. Don't give up on, working on your intuition. Don't give up on all of those woo things that I so like. Just providing an opportunity, providing maybe a way for those of you like me who really struggle. You've got, really, really solid woo on one side and really, really solid analytical thinking type of person on the other. So this is a nice way to balance out the two things. A month or so we'll get things rolling and have a nice little flow of question and answer opportunities for people to come on the air with me and do readings, ask questions, and all of those fun things. So that is that. Thank you all for your patience as I get my life figured out. I could be having to be patient for a little while, but that's process, right? That's what growth and life are all about. So you all have a great week, and I will talk to you again soon. Be well.